Probably see news or stories about how AI is super scary, how AI is getting more and more powerful, and how AI is going to take over the world almost every day. And instead of being scared or ignoring it, if you're watching this video, you probably are thinking about embracing and understanding it, and are looking to put yourself in the best possible position with AI going forward. Because now, and especially in the future, having the skill of knowing how to use and manipulate AI will be incredibly valuable to you, even if you don't specialize in the AI field, and it also increase your value as a business person and as an employee. I'm gonna share with you what I've learned actually helps and my roadmap to learning AI as a high schooler going forward. And I'm gonna give you a quick overview of the different terms in AI because it can be a little bit confusing. So artificial intelligence is the over-encompassing broad term about basically just machines that try and mimic human intelligence. And within artificial intelligence, there is machine learning, which is a way for AI to learn by minimizing their errors and trying to optimize towards the results you want to get out of them. And within machine learning, there is deep learning, which is a type of machine learning that processes data in a way that's inspired by the biological brain, like the brain that is inside your head, and it also automates a lot of the process. And within deep learning, there's neural networks, which are basically the backbone of deep learning, and they're basically inspired by real neural networks, and they have a bunch of neurons that each connect to each other and affect each other in different ways, and it takes an input and gives you an output. And things like ChatGPT use deep learning and neural networks. And when we talk about learning about AI, we're going to be mainly focusing on learning neural networks. So after I had already learned a little bit about AI and experimented around with it, I called my relative in China who does a lot with AI and owns a company, and I asked what I should primarily focus on. And they said to first start with utilizing the advanced AI that we all have access to and just understanding its capabilities first. And I had already been doing that, but just experimenting around with ChatGPT to help learn things and asking questions was a great first step. And I had also been listening to some content and podcasts around AI just about its importance and the problems that surround it. And after talking with my relative, I learned that math was super important when it came to learning and having a solid grasp on neural networks and artificial intelligence, and that it should be my main focus. So I started taking math even more seriously, and I grinded through calculus. And after learning more about AI, I'd have to say this is definitely true, that a lot of the things in neural networks and how they learn relies heavily on calculus and linear algebra. So if you're able to focusing on your math classes and your math learning and just trying to get as ahead as possible would be super important. And note that having some basic knowledge of coding and Python especially is super helpful for learning AI, and even some of the data and math libraries within Python NumPy will be really helpful for you. So after some of the basic prerequisite skills, which you definitely don't need to have a complete mastery of or even a mastery of at all to start learning AI, you can kind of do them simultaneously based off of what interests you. Although getting ahead in math and having some knowledge of programming is super helpful. I looked into different courses on trying to understand the basics of AI and how it works. One of the most accessible and informative courses on AI is 3 Blue 1 Brown's neural network course. It's really accessible, it's just on YouTube, and it basically shows you the basics of how neural networks work and also how neural networks learn. It's a little fast and complex if you have no knowledge beforehand, so you'll probably have to rewind and go back and learn a little rewind and rewatch stuff. But it's also a very good start to learning AI. The neural network course on Brilliant is also one of the most beginner accessible courses that I took. It's super interactive with every step. However, it also does cost money to have a Brilliant subscription and to be able to access the full course, although there is like some free section of the course that is given to you. This one doesn't go super in depth about like how neural networks actually like function and like learn. However, it does give you a super solid understanding of like what happens between the individual neurons through like showing you visually and with interactive like components. I also tried some of the free courses by Google on like Google's Cloud Skill Boosts, but it wasn't super engaging, so I ended up not using it that much. However, they do have like some courses on like more nuanced topics like ethics in AI, so if you're interested, you can also check that out. However, I think the best combo for just learning the basics of AI is the 3 Blue 1 Brown video and the Brilliant course. So once I understood like the basics of how AI actually works, I looked into like actually making it and like creating some basic like neural networks using coding. So there's a real Python course that I used, or not like even course, there's a real Python guide that I used, which just used Python and like basically none of the like specific AI based libraries to represent and create a very basic neural network. And that was pretty useful because it was the first actual time I used code to create something AI related. And the real Python can be skipped because afterwards I learned about PyTorch, which is probably the most popular AI framework and the one I got recommended from my relative. And they're on the official PyTorch website. They have like a guide on like how to use it and how to make a neural network with it, a basic one that like helps you recognize what types of clothing a cloth is just by a picture. So I used that and I learned basically the basics of how PyTorch worked. And from there, I've been experimenting around with like PyTorch and how to create things with it. So that's basically like the point I'm at, which isn't super deep into like the AI learning journey. I'm still kind of at the beginning, but now I'm gonna tell you like what I'm doing going forward. So I've been looking into using my skills that I've already learned and creating like actual hands-on projects. The Kaggle website has like some very good options, and you can also probably just find some online. And I think that I probably should have done this earlier, but actually like using like not just following a guide, but like using your own head and creating projects is probably like the number one way to learn things, and like was the best way for me to actually like learn coding originally. So that's what I'm going to try and prioritize from now on. I'm also looking to take more courses on like more advanced courses on specific types of neural networks, like the convolutional neural network course on Coursera, which I got like sent to by my relative. And I'm also looking into like trying to network and like just find communities to like talk with and learn from. And eventually in the future, looking into maybe even like internship or mentorship to learn like even more and gain more skills related to like neural networks and AI. So here are like the roadmap steps that I would recommend following based off of my current somewhat limited knowledge. So at the start, I'd recommend first building just a basic understanding of like how to use the modern AI and like its importance. And then I would go into trying to get ahead on math and learning basic programming. After that, I would learn how AI, like the general AI neural network works and like its applications through like the YouTube course or the Brilliant course or both. Then I would learn AI's like general architecture and how to create that architecture just using basic Python, using like the real Python course. And then I would go into learning more AI frameworks like PyTorch. And then from there, do like simple projects that you can find like online or on Kaggle. Then as I'm doing projects, I would start taking more advanced courses on like different AI neural network structures, like the convolutional neural network course on Coursera. And while doing that, I would keep making more and more advanced projects. And then finally, I would look into other AI learning opportunities and like internships. So these are like the rough steps that I have followed and I would recommend following. However, it's obvious like these aren't like set in stone, and you should probably honestly experiment a little bit on your own. And if you experiment and you find anything that's like helpful, please tell me in the comments. And if you're someone who's even more ahead on the AI learning journey, I'd love to hear what you would recommend learning about. Alright, have fun learning about AI. Thank you.